Spookyou's frightening nights of Halloween.
Hello, my dear Franken friends, and welcome to Spookyou, your one-stop shop for all things ghastly and ghoulish. I'm your host, Barnabas Vixen, and you know what time it is. It's time for Night 6 of Spookyou's Frightening Nights of Halloween. Tonight and every night leading up to that spooktacular night in October, All Hallows Eve, or as you mundane mortals like to call it, Halloween. I hope you brought your covers and your best warding spells, because you never know how real these stories might be. They may just jump off the screen and into your rooms, claiming it as their own. Go ahead and prep those spells. It's better safe than sorry, you know. Oh, and don't forget to mark your calendars while you're at it. Our grand event, Spookyou's All Hallows Eve Bash, is coming up soon. We'll have a 24-hour radio of terrifying stories all Halloween Day. And who knows, maybe I'll make an appearance or two. No promises, though. Now, before I pass the reins on over to our vivacious voiceover virtuoso, I'd like to say thank you to our title sponsor, and the one that ultimately helped make this happen, the Scottish Hush Puppy. He's the beast of the Southeast, the 1.5 meter leader whose content is even sweeter than the rest. He's a bona fide, gentrified, stand-up guy who lives his life to the fullest. Alright, I'm done rhyming now, you get the point. Thank you, Hush Puppy, for your unwavering moral support and numerous donations of pure, grade A, tender love and care. Trey, take it away with tonight's story. You've been dealing with anxiety all your life, and you've tried nearly everything and you did get better. However, you're still a very nervous person. Recently, a friend has convinced you to try meditation. They even convinced you to try a meditation ritual, but they did give you a strange warning. You don't take it seriously, though, because it just sounds like mystical mumbo-jumbo. That night, you try the meditation ritual your friend suggested. You light a few candles and turn off the lights, and then you sit down on the floor and close your eyes. Finally, you repeat the mantra your friend told you while you picture the room slowly changing color. After a few minutes, you feel really relaxed, so you open your eyes. You immediately notice the room is pitch black, and naturally you assume that the wind blew out the candles. You did feel a breeze, and it is a windy night. However, before you have a chance to stand up, you notice different colored spots all around the room, and they're quickly getting wider. As they get wider, you start to realize that they aren't just spots. They seem to be windows or portals. You feel a different emotion as you look at each one, and the things you see through these portals are very strange. Some even hurt to look at. From what you can tell, they seem to lead to other worlds, and these worlds seem to have different physical laws. Shortly after you look at a few, the space between you and them starts to shrink, and out of fear, you look around for an exit. You spot the portal that leads to your room, and you try to jump through, but before you can, you're pulled backwards, and now you seem to be falling through space. At first, you seem to be falling past many different bizarre, colorful objects, but as you fall, everything loses its color. After several minutes, you land on a dark, gray dirt, and before you know it, you're grabbed by a dark, formless being. Now this entity is dragging you up a hill, and you struggle to break free, but it's no use. Moments later, you stop, and you notice that it brought you to a deep, dark hole, and you beg for this thing to let you go, and as you do, it starts to take shape. This being is taking a very familiar form. Your form. Before you even have a chance to scream, it pushes you into the hole, and you land in what seems to be a pitch black cave. You look up, and the last thing you see is the entity covering the hole. The last thing you feel is cold, clammy hands dig sharp nails into every part of you. And the last thing you hear is your screams as you're ripped apart. Yes, our favorite time of the show. Sponsor time! I'm gonna let Hush Puppy take it from here and tell you about his channel. But you have to promise me, no visiting his channel until you've at least finished this video first. I mean, how rude is it to just leave in the middle of a video? Seriously, promise me. Do it now. No, not later, not I'll do what I can. I need to know that you won't leave me. Okay, well, I guess here's Hush Puppy.
Salutations, good people. I'm the Scottish Hush Puppy, and salutations to all you good people over there at Spookyou, all the subscribers, listeners, and even you, Barnabas. And before I tell you who I am, I want to give a sincere thank you to everybody at the channel for allowing me to be your sponsor for the Frightening Nights of Halloween series that's going to be taking place on October the 18th. So make sure you're subscribed. Do not miss that, because if you're anything like me, you love a good spooky story. And what better place than the YouTube channel you're watching right now? Now, what is a Scottish Hush Puppy, and what does it do? Well, over at our channel, we do a lot of live streams. We stream a lot of horror games, especially through the month of October. And we stream a variety of games when it's not October. And we love to have people watch us live, and we want to provide a family-friendly environment for anybody, absolutely anybody, to come in, hang out, and make it feel more like a casual hangout than a live stream. Because usually everybody in the chat, they're all friends, and we can't wait to see you in one of our live streams in the upcoming foreseeable future. So, that being said, I just might be narrating one of these Frightening Nights stories. And of course, all this is leading up to the big live stream on Halloween itself. And I might be popping up there as well. So don't miss it. Hit subscribe on that Spookyou button. Annihilate it. And until next time, I've been the Scottish Hush Puppy, and I got some food to go eat.
Oh good, you're still here. You are still here, aren't you? It's kind of hard to see through the glare on your screen. Turn your brightness down. No, a little bit. No, just please. Forget it. I'm sure you're still hanging on. Let's get back to the story. This was around a year ago in July 2018. I was on a trip to Goa, India with some of my friends, and we were on this rented yacht in the Arabian Sea or the Indian Ocean for the night. A lot of us were drunk as hell except for me. I'd stayed away from the bottles that day because of a bet with a friend. He had bet me around $20 that I couldn't go 2 vacation days without drinking or smoking. So early on in the night, some of my more intoxicated friends decided to look out at the vast sea and yelled excitedly that they'd seen mermaids around us, which turned out to be dugong, which are marine mammals commonly mistaken for mermaids. This was around like 11:30 or 12 at night, and I helped get them back inside with the others. The party had died down by around 2 or 3 a.m., and I decided to enjoy the view of the sea with a good old late-night snack, a pack of barbecue Lay's chips. I was about halfway through the pack when I noticed these strange, human-like figures coming up out of the water, and I, assuming they were actually mermaids seen by my drunk friends, decided to get a closer look. They formed what I think was a circle around the boat and drew closer. Now, I could tell that they had long, dark hair. It was a moonlit night. And they had this, like a grayish-white face. They didn't rise very far out of the water, and I could only see their shoulders at most. I was still assuming that they were somewhat ugly mermaids in poor lighting, and I tried waving to them, at which they all stared in my direction. And they began to emit what I now feel was the most ghastly wailing I had ever heard. It was oddly mesmerizing, and as I inched closer to the railing, I felt a strong urge to join them in the water, but I started to back away when I saw their eyes. They had no irises or any white, just plain black. And their mouths seemed to grow in size, and that was when my eyes convinced my ears not to give in. I dropped my chips and pulled away from the railing and fought my urges to jump over, and I ran inside, shutting the door behind me and falling to the ground. Everyone else was asleep, and the wailing just stopped abruptly. And I was far too afraid to go outside at this point, so I decided to lose the bet and have a fairly good amount of Henny and rum, plus half a blunt that my friends had left. I passed out, and the next morning, no one was missing, so that was good. No one believed me, though, and we had to head back to the hotel in the afternoon. Just to clarify, there was a light from the yacht too. It wasn't pitch black in there, which I forgot to mention, so yes, I'm sure I got a fairly good look at their faces. And even if you're right about me not being able to see them or hallucinating their appearance, I'm definitely sure the wailing was real. Welcome to the outro, my darling deviants. I'm so glad to see that you've made it this far. It just warms my cold, dead heart to think that you've enjoyed our show enough to stick around to the very end. We've made it a good ways into our Frightening Night series, but don't worry, because we've still got time on our hands. Time. That elusive beast that slithers and slinks its way into the present, ever fleeting and forges a path into the expansive future. Oh, I'm sorry, listeners. I have no clue where that came from. Anywho, make sure you cremate that subscribe button and that little bell, too. That way, you're notified the moment we upload a new sinister story. And of course, if you've liked what you've heard today, smash that like button to show your unyielding support towards Barnabas, your dark master and ruler of all things spooky and surreal. Whoa. Oh man, I may need to visit Katarina's and get something for this weird monologuing thing that I keep falling into. Oh well, let's just take a moment to thank the Scottish Hush Puppy for his sponsorship before we get out of here. Thanks, Hush Puppy. And that'll do it for tonight's Frightening Nights episode. If you're still feeling that great empty void in the pit of your stomach, might I suggest another of our terrifying videos? Or perhaps a Scottish Hush Puppy live stream? Well, whatever you decide, I'll see you back here tomorrow night for another Frightening Nights of Halloween. Until then, my ghastly gang, stay spooky.